Yay! Welcome, everybody. So excited that you're here for our webinar on the top 25 mistakes that speakers often make. And so, and on the heels of our amazing Get Paid to Speak event last night, so excited for those of you who were there and shared 20 minutes, but that's not enough time for me. So I wanted to make sure and be able to deliver a little bit more and have a little bit more fun with you. So I'm going to put the chat up on my other screen so that I can see it. Yeah, you have to, Crystal, you'd have to hide your pom-poms from your daughters and your son. I did lose a pair of my favorite pom-poms to one of my granddaughters because she loved them. And how am I supposed to say no to that? So yeah, it's not happening. I'm not going to say no to that. Okay, so let's rock and let's talk about the 25 biggest mistakes that speakers make. And we're going to do it with a little fun, and we're going to do it with a little humor, and we're going to continue to let people in as they arrive. And I'm going to turn this on and try to appear at the top of the screen. Yay, so you can see me and you can see my slides. And so hopefully I'm not going to get in their way. I'm so excited that you're here, and let's just have a really fun time together for the next 90 minutes. The reason that I can have this conversation with you is because I have made every one of these mistakes and some, so probably a whole lot more. And so I can laugh at myself. It's fun. It's great. And if I can pass along any of my wisdom to any of you to help avoid you making these mistakes, that would be awesome. And Beth loves lists. I love lists as well. So this is totally different, completely different than last night. There might be a little bit of overlap, but new lists, Beth, new lists. I love it. And I'd love to invite you to stay to the end. 90 minutes of fun and fabulosity total, because I do have a gift for you. I have a gift for everyone that stays to the end of something that I think you'll find incredibly valuable as you are embarking on your own speaking journeys and celebrating Beth, who just got a keynote today for July. Yay, yay, so exciting. And thank you, Kelly, for navigating technology. We want to make sure everybody who wants to get in can get in, especially our good friend, Marianne. We love her. Awesome. Okay, so there will be a Q&A section at the end. If you're anything like me, after my 40th birthday, I had to make a decision. If I had an idea, brilliant idea come into my head, I have to write it down. After I rounded the corner on my 50th birthday, that up level to, I have to write it down right now. So we are going to be saving questions for the end, and I don't want to miss a single question that any of you have. So please write them down. And then at the Q&A time, say, woohoo, I have a question, and let's get to it and make sure that we address that for sure. And I will have a special offer for you later in the webinar as well. But first, yeah, if you're looking for support in your journey, I want to make sure to share that with you and what that might look like for us to potentially work together. Let's start with the bio slide. And I am also making a very huge announcement later in the webinar. And so this bio slide is going to need to change. And that's all I'm going to tell you about that right now. But the bio slide is going to need to change. Currently, holds 17 NAR designations and certifications through the National Association of Realtors. And I have enjoyed the journey of speaking through the teaching of those courses and teaching in the real estate arena for a very long time. I started speaking 20 years ago. Cannot believe that. And my journey in 2010 took me to starting to speak in other states. And that has been a joyful, wonderful, wonderful journey to be able to meet friends from all over the country. I have written 3 books, in the process of writing several more. I am a certified Enneagram coach and a certified Fascinate advisor. And one of the projects that I'm working on right now, I've been working on that for the last 2 years, is to become a certified coach through an internationally accredited program. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. And for the next, 6 weeks, I still get to joyfully serve as the president of the Mountain West chapter of the National Speakers Association, which is how I got to meet many of you and such dear, wonderful friends. So I'd love to be able to share with you who I am and why I am qualified to take you on a journey of the top 25 mistakes a speaker might make. Because I have made all of them, but there are a number of things that I have said yes to throughout my 25 years in the real estate industry and my 20 years as a speaker. And there are a lot of things that I have said yes to, especially in the last 5 years. The pace of my saying yes to things that scare me to death has accelerated dramatically. The first thing I said yes to was to quit my job that I absolutely loved and to start my own company, Dynamite Productions. And I'm so incredibly grateful for my team. I could not do it without my team. Kelly is here, yay, on this webinar. And I could not, she's been with me from the very, very beginning. She is my sanity, could not do what I do without her. And so, so grateful to have her on this journey. And she helped me to get my certified speaking professional designation, the highest earned designation that the National Speakers Association bestows upon a speaker, held by about 17% of speakers within NSA and only about 2% of speakers worldwide. And we all realize, especially those of us who are members of the National Speakers Association, many of you, that prior to earning it, CSP actually stands for Can Supply Paperwork. That is the truth. That is a thing. And Kelly helped me put together the massive spreadsheet of all 250 events, 50 events, 5 years. I mean, it was crazy and it was massive. And now Kelly is helping other speakers. So if you find yourself in that position where you feel like you've got the events, I know she's helping one of the speakers in our chapter right now to get ready to submit for the class of 2024. So reach out to her if you need help. So saying yes to, I want to earn my certified speaking professional, that I remember where I was. I remember who I was talking to. I almost remember what I was wearing. And that journey set me on a course to attend my first National Speakers Association annual convention, which is called Influence. This particular picture was from the 2019 convention, but the first one that I attended was in 2018. And that was in Dallas, Texas. And little did I know that I had to go to Dallas, Texas to meet some of my very dearest friends in this picture who lived in my own backyard. And many of them are past presidents of our chapter and became such incredibly dear friends. And that experience in Dallas, Texas in July of 2018 and saying yes to that led me to saying yes to a whole host of other things, which we'll continue to talk about. So then Kelly helped me to submit my paperwork, and I felt really good about my chances. The odds were ever in my favor, and I felt really good that that was likely to happen. And then I said, I felt in my heart, I want more. I love what I've done in the real estate space, in the real estate arena, and I don't know how to craft a keynote. I'm a CSP who doesn't keynote. And the joke that I've told about myself for years is I don't keynote because it takes me 20 minutes to introduce myself. And when I'm teaching all day long and for multiple days, and some of you know me in that capacity, I thought, how do I create a keynote? How do I do that? And how do I take bigger stages? And so that led me to saying yes to my journey to heroic public speaking. Heroic Public Speaking is run by Michael and Amy Ports, and it is considered to be the Hogwarts, unofficially, the Hogwarts of public speaking in the world. Located in Lambertville, New Jersey. And I met Michael and Amy at my first Influence conference. That yes led to so many other huge yeses. And I decided to jump on board for the scariest thing that I had ever done in my life at that point, which was to say yes to their grad program. And I survived and I graduated that. And I was so unbelievably proud of the fact that I didn't die. I honestly thought I was going to have a medical event and not survive the experience. Michael Port is an intense guy. And I loved it so much that I said yes to coming back in January of 2020 and doing a fellowship and going through it again. And going through it again helped me to relax and actually enjoy the experience. And ultimately, because I wasn't so freaked out, I actually learned a whole lot more that second time. But 2020 is the year that shall not be spoken about, right? I was actually there. I had opted for an extra day of private coaching after one of our sessions in March of 2020. And when I flew out there, everything was normal. The COVID was a thing, but it wasn't part of my life. It was something that was on the news, and the world shut down while I was there. And I have joked and said 1,000 times, I left my normal in Lambertville, New Jersey. And I believe that normal is a setting on the dryer. And that's a thing, especially in my house, right? Some of you might be able to relate, but I feel like I need to go back and get it. And so I am going back to get it in December. And what a beautiful journey. What incredible humans, people that I have been able to meet and associate with, and so much that I have learned as a result. And wanted to go higher, wanted to write my first book, wanted to start a podcast, all the things. And saying yes to one thing is the domino effect that led to so many other incredible, amazing things. I was so excited and so overjoyed that I did get the phone call on my daughter's birthday in April of 2019 that I was successfully, I passed all the fiery hoops that they put in front of me, and I was being inducted into the CSP class of 2019. I collapsed on my kitchen floor. My daughter took a picture of it because she thought it was amazing. And I told her, you are not allowed to share that with anybody. Delete that right this minute. She did. She's a good kid, and she valued her birthday gifts that year, apparently. But I treasure that memory. You want to see the picture? Yeah, I don't know about that. Hopefully it's gone. But unbelievable and so fabulous to be able to affiliate with all of these incredible humans who have also earned it. And now it is my mission to help other humans, especially other women, to be able to wear this medal, to be able to say that they have earned the certified speaking professional. And I have been able to help several others who have successfully been able to cross that finish line. And I will not stop trying to get more of you on that stage until I am no longer on this earth or I can't speak. But even if I can't speak, I'm still going to keep trying. That HPS journey, heroic public speaking, led me to drafting my first keynote, which led me to publishing my first book, which wound up getting revised and many times and led to book number 2 and number 3. And then it led me to something really amazing. I said yes in, when was that? I said yes in February of 19 to becoming the Dean of the Speakers Academy for our National Speakers Association chapter. I had no idea what that was, but Rob Foray, who was our incoming president for the year that they were going to do it, our chapter only does Speakers Academy every 2 years. He knew that I had graduated from heroic public speaking, and he felt like I would be a good fit. And I said yes when I had no idea what I was doing. How many of you feel like that, right? You say yes before you know what you were doing. So oh my gosh, Crystal, your daughter said she was thinking about my Burn the Hamster Wheel book in the shower the other day. That's amazing. I need to send her some happy, fun, fabulous gift in the mail for thinking about that. Another crazy thing that I said yes to was speaking at the National Association of Realtors annual convention, and then said yes a second time, and then said yes a third time. And that journey, and combined with all the other journeys, led me to this beautiful human, Michelle Villalobos. I met her through National Speakers Association, and she became my business coach. I hired her to become my business strategist. My business coach became part of her mastermind in 2020, after the world had shut down and felt like I wanted and needed oxygen. Anybody else feel that way? And she helped me to create my retreat model, which I launched in 2020 and ran that for 2 years and loved that. Wound that down last summer, which led me to this incredible human being. Dr. Aaron Wilkerson. He is my mindset coach, and outside of my family has been the most instrumental human being in every decision that I make, who I have become, and I love him with all of my heart and soul. I get to go see him next week in Denver, and I'm so excited. What a beautiful transformational coach he is. And I love the way that Michelle coached me. I love the way that Dr. Aaron coached me, which led me 2 years ago to say yes to the Academy for Coaching Excellence. This is an internationally accredited program through the International Coaching Federation. And it was one of those things that I had no idea how hard it was going to be. And I'm so grateful that I said yes. But there have been times when it was like doing a really long hike, like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? But I love it. I love it. And I love so many of the things that journey has taught me, and the coaching experiences that I've been able to have, and truly being able to help provide transformation for others. It's been so wonderful. Then said yes to starting my own podcast. Again, what in the world am I doing? But I love it. And Kelly helps me to make sure that every episode is loaded, usually every Friday. Sometimes we have bonus episodes. We're coming up on episode 90. And I can't believe that, but it's allowed me to tap into the brilliance of so many amazing speakers, thought leaders throughout the country. And I've loved it. It's been a fabulous journey, which led to my saying yes to becoming a certified Enneagram coach. I don't know if you've heard about the Enneagram. I had never heard of it. My sister Michelle introduced me to the Enneagram in 2019 when I was at a really weird crossroads in my life and trying to figure out, why do I do what I do? And what really drives me, and who's driving the bus here? And the Enneagram allowed me to get a lot of those answers from a very spiritual place. And I loved it so much and found myself sharing it so much, wanted to go deeper. And so I became a certified coach earlier this year. And last year, I said yes to becoming the president of the National Speakers Association, which was actually a decision that I had made 5 years before, because it takes years to get there. But this was the day that I was sworn in as president of the chapter last June, surrounded by incredible brilliance. These are all previous presidents of our chapter. So much love, so much support, incredible family, and so grateful for all of them. Rob Frey's not in this picture, but he should be. So Michelle, then last year, I was at another crossroads in my career, and she helped me to create a 13-week mastermind program for individuals who wanted to craft and mine the diamonds in their stories and learn how to take their next big stage. And that was incredible and wonderful and fun. Kelly was part of that first cohort, and we loved it. And I loved it so much, and I wasn't willing to let them go, and I wasn't ready to let them go. And so I created a 3-day retreat so that we could go deeper, and I could introduce them to other incredible individuals, publishers, and videographers from all over the country. And that was so magical that we just kept having reunions so that we could continue to be together. And it was wonderful and it was fun. But it got me to thinking, what am I doing with this? And how am I going to continue to give back? And how am I going to keep this alive and keep helping and serving others, especially as I was continually being asked to do that? How to help others take their next stages and speak with confidence. I really wanted to do that, as I'm continually learning how to do that myself. One of the things that I love so much about my ACE coaching program is something called the Hero's Journey. I had never really heard about it before. And even if you haven't heard about it, you know what it is, even if you've never heard it in this context, because you've heard of Star Wars. So back in the 1970s, George Lucas reached out to a man by the name of Joseph Campbell, who had written a book called Hero with a Thousand Faces. And together they crafted Luke Skywalker's hero's journey. And that is what each and every one of us are on. All the experiences that you've ever had in your life are part of your hero's journey. And looking at it that way helps me to not look back at past things and mistakes and my divorce and and dumpster fires back there, things that I regret and wish that I could do differently, and just look at them as joyful learning experiences. And now I know what not to do, right? Because sometimes those things happen in our lives. We look at what we've done and what we don't want to do again, and we want to emerge as the person on the left, the hero, the champion, instead of the person who is discouraged and sad about the things that have happened in the past. One of my favorite things I've ever heard within my National Speakers Association family is that nothing bad ever happens to speakers, because everything either becomes a story or a learning experience, and usually both. So nothing bad ever happens to speakers. It's just a great story in the making. So my promise to you today is that we are going to have so much fun. We are going to have some breakthroughs. We are going to have some laughs. We're going to laugh at me and all the mistakes that I've made as we look at the top 25 mistakes that a speaker makes. So let's do this. Let's go. Let's go. Top 25 mistakes. Drum roll. Here we go. Number one is failing to prepare. So many speakers tell me, oh, I love the adrenaline rush of winging it. And then you're on the plane on your way there and you're freaking out because you know you are not ready to deliver. So prepare, 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 prepare. I typically spend, for every keynote that I'm doing, I spend about 30 hours on the keynote preparation, from the creation of figuring out what the client wants and how I can best serve them, to what the audience most needs. We'll talk about that in a second. To all of it, the whole creation, and then the rehearsal process. And yeah, I love that, Crystal. You don't ever procrastinate. It's against your religion. Yay! Beautiful. Woohoo! I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay, number two is reading slides or notes. Don't let anything get between you and your audience. So you don't want anything in your hands. Don't stand behind a podium. Get out there in front and be in front of everybody, and just be with them and connect with them and their eyeballs, and watching their eyeballs, so you make sure that you're not losing them to their phones, because that's a real thing. That is it is such a distraction. And if they're not right there with you and you're not right there with them, the temptation for them is going to be pick up the phone and disconnect. So nothing in between you and your audience. Number three is not knowing the audience. Knowing the audience is so absolutely essential. And for those of you who were there last night, you heard me talk about how absolutely essential this is. Knowing their pain points and their wants and their needs, and serving that need right now. Focusing your attention on serving them right now with what they most want and need to hear from you. Asking yourself these three questions. Number one, what do they most want to hear from you right now? Let me move my head so I'm not in the way of the questions. Number two, what do you want them to experience? That your client has hired you to create an amazing experience for this room, for this audience. What do you want them to experience? You are taking them on a journey. And what do you want them to experience? And most importantly, as a result of that experience, what action do you want them to take as a result of the time that you have spent together? Something clear, specific, concrete, ideally, and very simple. One small, sweet step that they can take as their next step toward their next step as a result of hearing you speak. Number four, using jargon or complex language. The real estate industry is notorious for this. We don't speak English. We speak acronym. And so making sure that we don't do that in any industry. Utilizing jargon or complex language that's going to confuse the audience is going to disconnect you from them. Number five is going back to number one, not practicing a lot. So you're going to prepare, and then you are going to practice, practice, practice. Knowing your material is so absolutely important. Some of you have heard me speak on ChatGPT, and I love ChatGPT. I used it earlier today. It is so phenomenal. And I shared this last night, and I'll share it again for those who were not there. Clients, especially large clients, large corporations, of course, they know about ChatGPT, and they are now requiring in contracts for the speaker to disclose exactly what they use ChatGPT for in the creation of their keynote. They want to make sure that you know your stuff. They're hiring you, not artificial intelligence. You are the brilliance that they hired. Yes, utilize ChatGPT and any and all other tools at your disposal to add to and supplement your brilliance, but don't ever let it replace your brilliance, and certainly don't get lazy with it, because that's not what they hired you for, and that's not who you are. Next up is rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. You will get the presentation you prepare for. And I know when I'm ready, because I go from being nervous about it to being excited to share what I have learned. And that's a sweet spot in my brain. Having given over 1,000 presentations in my career, I know when I'm ready, and I know when I'm winging it. I know when I'm phoning it in, and I don't want to do that. That's not what clients are hiring me for. Next up, to make certain that you are constantly getting yourself on the path to getting better and better and better, is to record yourself. Record yourself in everything that you do, so that you can, I know it's cringeworthy at first. And the first time I heard this at Heroic Public Speaking, remember, I had already submitted for my CSP when I was at that point in my journey. Wow, I don't want to record myself. I hate recording myself. I hate watching myself. Anybody feeling that way? I'm like, yep, okay, I'm seeing your hands over there. I get it, because I have felt that way myself. And when they're hiring you to deliver a keynote, especially if they're paying you a lot of money, a check with commas, which we want for you, that's the object of the game. You are the product. You are the product. And I know that you care about getting better and learning more. And that comes from recording yourself and practicing a lot. Crystal. Yeah. She says, now I'm sexy and I know it. Yes, you are sexy and you know it. And I did this earlier today. I sought feedback from somebody that I love and trust on a presentation that I had done. And he gave me a lot of feedback, things that I had not even thought about. And he was right. And yes, it was hard to hear. And it came from such a place of love that I knew that I needed to hear it. And that is how I'm going to continue to get better, no matter what stage of my career I am at. So always record yourself, record yourself, record yourself. My good friend Elizabeth McCormick talks about turning on her phone voice memo and just putting her phone down next to where she's speaking, so that she can hear where the audience laughed and all of that. So yep, do it. Dressing the part, making sure that we are dressed in such a way that we convey our expertise and experience to the audience, and we are comfortable and we can move, and what we're wearing fits. I talked about this last night, and then I looked at what I was wearing, and the last time I had worn that shirt, it was before I lost 16 pounds. And so I'm talking about dressing the part and making sure it fits. And the very shirt that I was wearing was a little too big. So go team, always room for improvement. I love heels. I absolutely love heels. And when we wear heels like this on stage, it can make us look a little bit unsteady, a little shaky in our message. And we don't want that. So yes, wear the heels whenever you want to, but just not on stage. You want to make sure that you are able to move. Number 6 is ignoring body language. And I could spend a lot of time on this one, but really, really watching the eyeballs of your audience to make sure that they are with you. They're leaning forward, and so that they are engaged in what you're saying. Otherwise, it's time to switch it up with your movement, with your stories, with your cadence, with your pitch, with your volume, whatever it is. Maybe you insert some kind of an audience engagement activity, but reading the room is so important. And the more you speak, the more you'll be able to pick up on that and have that EQ, that emotional intelligence, to be able to pick up on the body language. Because if they're not with you, they're not with you, and it's not going to get any better. Number 7 is speaking too fast. I know that I speak fast. My good friend Connie Sokol talks about the fact that she speaks fast as well. And that is because I'm trying to deliver a lot of information in a short period of time. And I know that I have the ability to slow down and breathe and allow you to consume what I am sharing with you, rather than fire hosing you to death. So it is a natural tendency when we're nervous to speak too fast. For me, it's not because I'm nervous. You're my friends and I love you. I'm just excited to share all these things with you in a short period of time. At least I have more than 20 minutes like I did last night. Number 8 is lack of enthusiasm. No one in that room is going to be more passionate about your topic than you are. So make sure that you are super jazzed, knowledgeable, and excited about your big idea that you are going to share with them, and be very clear about what your big idea is and love it. Number 9 is ignoring time limits. Make sure that you know exactly when you are supposed to start, know exactly, even more important, when you're supposed to end. Michael Port, in his book, Steal the Show, talks about an event where he was speaking, and the event organizers paid those speakers a lot of money to be there. And one of the speakers went 30 minutes over her time. Another one went 20 minutes over their time, to the point where they had to scrap the last speaker entirely. Okay, that is not in service to the audience. Your ideas are amazing, and you also need to respect the time limits. And so just making really sure that you're very clear about when you're supposed to start, and when you're supposed to end. Yeah. All right. Next up is everything on time. Always, always, always be on time to absolutely everything, especially sound check. That is usually your first opportunity to engage with the client day of. But I always try to connect with my client the second I land. And that's a protocol that I've only in the last couple of years picked up on. Learned that from an NSA friend, is let the client know that I have arrived in town so that they can breathe and relax and know that I am there, because if I'm not there, I'm not going to show up on time. And so, yeah, everything on time. Be able to expand and contract your message, like that story that I just told you that Michael Port shares in his book. That speaker who went 30 minutes over wasn't able to contract. And then the other speakers weren't able to shorten their talk by that much time. And then they had to cut an entire speaker entirely. That is absolutely terrible. But you may find yourself with more time. So be able to expand if necessary and contract when necessary, because you're going to have times where you're going to have more time than you thought, sometimes less. Terrible slides is number 10. We do not want to have terrible slides. We are in a day and age where we want to engage with the audience visually, and there's so many great tools available to us as speakers. And remind me in the Q&A section, I can tell you more about that, about some of the tools that I use to create great slides. But yes, we want to engage visually, and we don't want our slides to be terrible. That's not okay. Number 11 is not handling Q&A properly. We don't want to end with Q&A. You want to be in charge of the energy of your talk, of your presentation, of your program, and you don't want to end with something that's out of your control. It's called a false close. So you finish, even though with your first ending, and then you do your Q&A. And most of the time when I'm delivering a keynote, the client does want somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 10 minutes of Q&A. Fine and dandy. And then do your real ending. So you're going to have to make sure with your expand and contract and following your timelines that you budget time for that Q&A so that you don't go over, because again, they're not going to be happy about that. Number 12 is no vocal variety. We want to be able to rise and fall and create excitement and fun and all the energy around what we're trying to teach, and make sure that we're doing that with variety. I will move myself so that I'm not in the way there. No strong opening and closing is number 13. Patricia Fripp, absolutely fabulous speaker, member of the National Speakers Association Hall of Fame and past president, and absolutely hilarious, phenomenal speaker. She taught me, and so many of us, this: you open with your second best story. Your second best story is your opening, and you grab people with that. And her favorite words are "picture this." Those are her favorite 2 words to start with, to just bring them in and take them right into the setting of your story. Your best story you save for the end. And so for both your beginning and your ending story, that's where you really need to be able to expand and contract so that you have the time to deliver the meat of the story and deliver it, especially since that is what is so sticky and memorable for people. And you've got to be able to make those longer or shorter as your time allows. Number 14, not connecting with the audience, just kind of being tone deaf to what is happening, especially if there have been layoffs or one of the senior leadership was let go earlier this week, just kind of being nose blind to what that audience is actually experiencing and being very sensitive to that. Many of us know Kathy Lovelace, one of my dear friends and mentors. She's famous for telling her story about being hired to speak for the CIA. And the date was September 11th, 2001. And I know of many other speakers who were actually speaking as 9/11 was occurring. We've got to make sure that we are right there with them and what's going on and be able to roll and pivot like a skier, knees bent and flexible, like a surfer, if you prefer surfing over skiing. But we've got to have knees bent and flexible so that we truly can connect with the audience regardless of what's going on. And sometimes that's going to mean craziness happens. I've had fire drills, earthquake drills. I've never had anyone collapse in any of my courses. I have had someone need to leave because they went into labor. Have had that happen before. And so the longer you're doing this, the crazier and less believable your stories will become. But that's just being present with the audience. Poor handling of tech issues. I kid you not. Somebody that I loved, admired, and respected years ago was hired to come into the state of Utah and do an event for us here. And it was mandatory that we attend. And he had difficulty with his technology, and he turned his back to us and spent 30 minutes trying to get it fixed. He lost 30 minutes of connected audience time, of sharing of stories, of igniting the room with brilliance and engagement so that he could have his back to us and try to fix this technology issue. Honestly, I don't remember if he ever got it fixed, but I do remember the sight of his back to us and how horrible I thought that was. Hopefully you will have an AV team there to help you with whatever issues, whether it's sound, whether it's electricity and lighting in the room, like all of it, or whether it's just your slide deck. But making sure that you handle it. And like Freddie Mercury taught us, the show must go on. Number 16 is focusing too much on facts and figures. Yes, there are individuals in the room who really need data, and everyone is blessed and benefited by you supporting your claims, especially if they're controversial, with facts and figures, ideally from a very, very reputable source. But don't focus too much on those facts and figures. They are not here to hear you quoting other sources. They're here to hear you. Use them in support of you. Number 17 is poor storytelling. And I love the idea that no matter how long we've been in this industry, we can all get better at our storytelling and learn to love it. We spent a lot of time this last year in our National Speakers Association chapter focusing on the power of excellent storytelling. And there are some amazing resources within NSA and books that I can recommend to you on becoming a better storyteller. No matter what you do for a living, we will all be better at everything that we do by becoming better storytellers, because our brains are hardwired for story. Number 18, let me move myself again, is using the stage to heal old wounds. I remember I've made every single mistake that I'm sharing with you, and getting up on the stage and sharing a story that you have not yet healed from. For me, it was a story about my grandfather, who was an incredible hero in World War II. And I got up there and it hit me really in all the feels. And it hit me so emotionally. And I cried a lot in front of the audience, and they were genuinely worried about my ability to recover. You don't want your audience to worry about you and your ability to recover. So make sure that it's healed, and you'll figure that out in rehearsal. Had I rehearsed more, I would have figured out, maybe I shouldn't tell that story because I'm not quite over it. I love this slide. Not controlling nervous habits. So this can include everything from mindless movement to playing with hair, or, touching face, or using filler words. There are a lot of things that our brain does to keep us safe, especially if our brain senses that we are in danger, Will Robinson. And public speaking is a dangerous, scary thing for a lot of people. And so a lot of nervous habits will come out. Again, we can fix those by recording ourselves and becoming aware of it, And by rehearsing a lot. Number 20 is not getting the right feedback or ignoring it. And by the right feedback, I mean people that you know and love and trust to give you feedback that will help you to get better. Of course, we all love the person that says, oh, that was amazing. Beth, that was incredible. You don't need to fix a thing. Just do it like that every time. And we're like, oh, yay. You know, happy. But the people that I really love and admire and appreciate are the people that tell me, all right, improve this, fix this, so that I can constantly improve and get better. So getting the right feedback from the right people at the right time is essential. And yes, it is painful sometimes, but take it with the spirit in which it is intended. You're so funny, Crystal. She said, I like, so don't have any weird like body language. Yeah, that's hysterical. Love that. And we're not aware of it until someone makes us aware of it. Oh, there we go. And ignoring it is not going to help us get better. Painful to recognize. I know. And sometimes you will encounter people in your speaking journey who may be jealous of you and what you're doing. And they may ask you, can I give you some feedback? And your answer to that, if it's not the right time, if you're not ready to receive it, or if it's the wrong person, I want you to practice saying these two words. No, thank you. Great big smile. No, thank you. And you don't have to take feedback from people who are not the right fit, or if it's not the right time for you. And right after you get off the stage is not the right time, ever. Number 21, telling offensive or inappropriate jokes or using foul language. So important that we use inclusive language. Very important principle of the National Speakers Association is that we use inclusive language, and just making sure that we're very sensitive to that. And again, rehearsal will help us with that, rehearsing in front of an audience who can give us the feedback like, you may not want to tell that joke right there. Would be awesome. You love this slide? I love this slide. Like, yep, cute face, cute dog. Who doesn't love a cute dog? Number 22, failure to rehearse at the venue. So you will have rehearsed over and over again in front of your army of stuffed animals or family and friends or colleagues, and that is all fabulous. But you've got to make sure that you know the venue. First of all, you need to know where it is and how long it's going to take you to get there. Second, you need to make sure that you know the AV setup, make sure that you are ready to roll. And if there's a rickety, weird stage, hopefully you've brought more than one pair of shoes so that you can change into tennis shoes, which I love on stage, or flats, because can you imagine getting your heel stuck in one of those cracks of one of those rickety stages? Done that as well. Yeah, it's like, I kid you not. I was 5 minutes into an 8-hour presentation in Arizona for the Arizona State Association of Realtors when my heel broke, cracked off completely. So what did I do? I took them off entirely, and I taught the entire day barefoot. It was fabulous. But yeah, it's called roll with it. Do it with me. Ready? Roll with it. Whatever happens, you are ready, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. But do rehearse at the venue so that you've got the lay of the land. Number 23 is so important. And this leads to another very important NSA principle of ethics. We do not steal other speakers' stories or their intellectual property. One of my mentors and dear friends, Carol Murray, who I met her through my real estate speaking journey, and she got her CSP years ago. And I thought, well, okay, that's my next step. She was part of the reason that I declared that in 2014, that was something that I really wanted to do, that was very important to me. She told me about going to a very large convention with lots of real estate speakers there, and that she had heard about this new hot speaker, and she thought, okay, I've got a free few minutes. I'm gonna go over and just sit in and listen to this speaker's session for a little bit before I need to get ready for my next class. She walked in, and I kid you not, this speaker on stage was sharing Carol's personal story of how she met her husband, telling her story. That is so not okay. Friends, you have amazing stories of your own. Mine the diamonds of your own personal stories, and do not steal anyone else's personal story or their intellectual property. You won't like it if somebody does that to you. Definitely don't do that. That's not how we roll. Number 24 is failing to know what the client wants and making them look like the hero. So important that we are really clear about their expectations so that we can deliver, and always make them look awesome. Ideally, thank them early in your presentation so that if you do have to expand or contract, that doesn't get left out of it. And a slide or two to thank them for bringing you and the audience together is so beautiful and so fabulous and so wonderful. Always make them like the hero, and make sure that you're really clear about their expectations. Last but not least, let me move myself again. Let me move myself over here. Look, isn't technology so fabulous? Number 25 is failing to own your own value. Failing to recognize how absolutely, completely, and totally fabulous you are. And the most valuable real estate in the entire world is right here between your own two ears. Please get out of your own way and make sure that you are not the thing getting between you and your audience. Crystal, my dear, I see that you have raised your hand. Do you want to unmute?
I have. I was actually going to ask you, I have heard from a few other professional speakers that you don't thank your audience. And I thought that was kind of weird. And I don't know if that's my style or not. I just wanted to get your take on that. Would you thank your audience? Would you not? Tell me.
I've never heard that. You always thank, going back, thank the clients. Oops, I went ahead. That's me.
Oh, maybe it was that you don't open with thanking them or like close. I can't remember. But I just thought that was kind of funky. Like I feel like it's never wrong to say thank you. That's how I was feeling about it. But I was just curious.
I could not agree more. Okay. So what I have heard is don't ask permission to tell stories. Don't ever do that. I learned that from Michael Port. Look, can I tell you a story? Don't ever say that. So, but yeah, thanking people is gracious. Thanking people is lovely, and always thank the client. So yeah, great question. Thanks for asking. So
thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and I love cowboy boots, cowgirl boots. Heck yes. Heck yes. Heck yes. Definitely own your own value. And we will have more time for Q&A in a few minutes. So definitely be thinking about them, write them down so that you've got them fresh on your mind. And don't forget, because I'm sure you have some amazing questions. Just remember, you are your own worst critic. There are two types of critics in this world: the critic inside of you and the critics outside of you. And no matter what we do, we'll never, ever be able to get rid of or silence all the critics in the world that are out there. There are people who are professionally sad and unhappy. And when they see you and your dazzling brilliance, they may want to tear you down. And we can't fix that, and we can't change that. And heaven knows there are enough social media trolls out there to, we don't even want to talk about that. What we do want to talk about is the one and only critic that you can control, and that's the person sitting in your chair. You can control that critic. Please make sure that your mindset is awesome, that you start your day with power and intention and a glorious determination to be of service. And if you do that, you will be successful as a speaker. You will be successful in whatever you decide to do, because you have the mindset, the servant's heart and the servant leader's heart of giving and loving and serving and contributing. And if you do that with enough consistency and long enough, it is like the water and in the river, carving those rocks. The money will follow, because you will have developed expertise and trust of people who recognize that you are in this for the right reasons. And so it starts with you recognizing you are valuable, you are awesome, you are wonderful, and you have a message to share. So please don't get in your own way, because I know that I have many, many times. Show up always as the movie star of your own life that you are, but don't be a diva with your client. Be incredibly easy to work with. And most of all, have fun with it and be your beautiful, fabulous self. Always, always, always be real. As my very good friend, Dr. James A. Smith talks about, he came and talked to our NSA chapter. He had me as a guest on his podcast, and I was lucky enough to have him as a guest on mine. He talks about radical authenticity and how absolutely essential it is that every single one of us tap into who we are, what we love, what we're here to do, and then do it and be it unapologetically fabulous. And that being said, there's a lot to know about the speaking industry. And I wish that I had jumped into the National Speakers Association earlier, and that I had mined the brilliance that is there, and that I had hijacked the learning curve, because the speaking industry, the failure rate is unbelievably high. And that is so sad. There are so many people that have the dream to be a professional speaker or professional author or coach or podcast host, and they let the dream die. And for me, that is unbelievably heartbreaking, to let a dream die. It's a matter of surrounding yourself with the people who are going to have the tools and the resources to help you go from where you are to where you want to be. At this point, 20 years into my speaking career, I now know that this business is an airplane. It has two wings, a right wing and a left wing. And no, I am not talking about politics. I'm talking about two different aspects that we have to have in order for the plane to fly, in order for it to have lift. And I'll put myself back up here if I can get it to work. Pushing the right button. Hey, there we go. The left wing is the stagecraft, what you need to know and do consistently to get hired, and then get hired again and again and again, crafting and creating a keynote, polishing it and making it better, and then repurposing that content, developing an aligned and authentic brand. That is very, very tough, especially in today's day and age. Storytelling, we talked about that. Such a beautiful, wonderful thing to watch a master storyteller at work. Stagecraft, learning to block and stage and utilize the stage to your advantage and modulate and regulate your voice without it going hoarse on you, because that's a thing too. Rehearsal techniques. Michael Port teaches in his book, Steal the Show, that there is a 7-step process to rehearsal, which is so valuable and so wonderful. And I have found that when I skip a step, I don't get the presentation that I wanted. And it was from them that Heroic Public Speaking, that I learned you will get the presentation you prepare for, period. What to wear and what not to wear. I thought that I had that all figured out. And then as part of Heroic Public Speaking, we did a fashion show. And I was stunned to find that when there is a black backdrop on your stage, you don't want to be wearing all black. You will disappear and you will be a talking head. So it was at that point that I started to incorporate more color into what I wear, and things that look good against a black backdrop, and things that look good on me. If I wear yellow, people ask how quickly I need to be driven to the morgue. I mean, know what colors look good on you. Infusing appropriate humor in your presentation. I got hired to do a huge event, and I was really, really nervous about it. And the very first thing I thought is, I need Jason Hewlett. I need Jason Hewlett to teach me how to infuse humor in this presentation. And wouldn't you know, I mean, it was one of those beautiful, synchronistic, incredible moments of my life that as soon as I got off the call and they had hired me, I reached down to grab my phone, and Jason Hewlett had texted me, and he wanted my help in being able to do something that he wanted to do. And that's the beauty of this NSA family, is every single thing that you want and need, somebody has the answer. And that's an incredible thing to know and to feel that security that there is nothing that hasn't been figured out, and everything you need is out there within the family. He helped me, I helped him. I still really wasn't very happy with how funny it was, but I'm not Jason. I can't move my mouth like he does. And I'm continually working on trying to make it funnier. And Ninja Road Warrior travel rules. After years of stressful travel, I started writing down all of my ideas about how to make it easier for us as speakers to be able to survive that and living on the road, because it's tough. It's absolutely tough. And if you're doing it by yourself, it's tough and it's lonely. Then you've got the right wing. So all the left wing is your stagecraft. The right wing is the business of speaking, setting up that business entity legally, creating a business plan and a budget. That's not my favorite thing to do. Creating exciting but realistic goals. I'd rather do that. That's where my energy is high. Creating and maintaining your mindset is absolutely essential on a daily basis. Time management, tax strategy, marketing and social media, CRM systems to help manage client relationships, hiring the right help. Yay for Kelly. And getting hired by speakers bureaus. I now have 3 different bureaus that get me hired, but being able to get to the point where I had the collateral to allow them to want to take me on was a trick in and of itself. And a lot of speakers say, I want to get hired by a bureau, or I want to be brought on by a bureau. It's once you have what they need, it's beautiful, and it's plug and play, but it's getting there. How much to charge? That is a difficult question that for me, I needed the help of a coach to be able to figure that out, because frankly, at first, I had a very hard time believing that I was worth what my agent wanted to charge. And I thought, okay, and what an opportunity for me to rise up and become that. But having come from a very abusive first marriage, I was terrified of public speaking, and B, I did not think that I had value as a human. I didn't think I had worth, and I did not think I had any kind of a message to share. And so just remember that if you're terrified, I was there. Sometimes I'm still there. And so none of us are complete. None of us are, we are all a work in progress. Creating contracts is so valuable to know what to include, what to not include. Should I let them videotape me? Should I let them allow their office or their entire company to be able to access my talk, and for how long? And should I charge extra for that? Scaling and growing for the future is always something that we all need to have our eye on, that ball. There's just so much to know and do in the business of speaking. And again, National Speakers Association has been my place to learn how to navigate all of that. Oh, but wait, there's more. I had no idea what a one sheet was. Like, what the heck is that? Creating snazzy titles. Patricia Fripp is amazing at that. Creating a website and then search engine optimization, creating a sizzle reel. Last night, Tyler McCullough, who is my personal videographer, did a beautiful job of communicating that video is your calling card, and you absolutely positively must have video in order for any speakers bureau to be able to market you and for any client to want to hire you. But getting that at first can be a little tricky. Again, we can fill that hole. Getting booked, writing a book, publishing a book, marketing and selling your book once you've gotten to that point, being a great podcast guest, and maybe even starting a podcast of your own. So much to know, so much to do, so much to navigate. How many of you are feeling totally overwhelmed right now? Like, yeah, like, oh my gosh. Yeah, Beth, like, holy cow. There is so much to know and so much to do. And I get that. And the worst thing that you can do is to just feel overwhelmed. Michael Port, again, taught me this, and I have shared this with a few of you. Overwhelm is a choice. And when he first taught me that, I was like, you've never had 4 kids of your own and 5 bonus kids, Michael. But he's never had that many, but he has been a step parent. He gets what that is like, and he has had that experience. And it's just a matter of taking a moment, taking a breath, writing out everything that needs to be done, figuring out what needs to be done by you, what can only be done by you, and what can be delegated to someone else, and then prioritizing those things so that you do not become overwhelmed. What is the next small, sweet step? Let me move myself out of the way. What if you could hijack the learning curve of all of this, of my 20 years of screwing up? And there are a couple of different solutions that I have. But first of all, if you feel like I can help you, I would love to offer you the opportunity to be able to do that. Some of you have already signed up for Taking Your Next Big Stage, which is my 13-week master class on how to go from where you are to where you want to be and create confidence, mining the diamonds in your stories. And I took all of my mistakes and I smunched them into 13 weeks of fire hose blasting so that I could not only give help, but create a community where you can love and support and help each other. Hands-on support from me and all of the expert coaches that I bring in. Be part of an amazing, amazing community of people who love and care about each other and are there with each other as accountability partners and friends every single step of the way. Oh yeah, and it's too hard. It is way too hard for it not to be fun. And I decided, what the heck, I'm going to throw in the free 3-day retreat for everybody who does it, because that's what I did for cohort 1. And I believe in equanimity. And I want to make sure that what I do for one group, I do for all. So yeah, it is called the Ultimate Personal Branding Weekend. And we go through and we create, you walk out of there with a solid vision of who you are, what you're about, what your 10-year plan is, what your 3-year plan is, what your 1-year plan is, what your vision and your values are, who your niche market is or your niche market, depending on where you are, so that we can bring all of these pieces together and help you create your brand. Because your dream is too important for you to allow anything or anyone to get in the way. You have stories that are too important to not be shared. I just got off the phone with someone right before I got on tonight, who has an amazing story. She is taking on writing her grandmother's story. And she and I were together in Washington, D.C. a week and a half ago, where I was speaking, and I realized, oh my gosh, I need to tell my husband's grandfather's story. It is too important and it's too brilliant to not be shared. And so now I'm excited to tell a whole new story, and it's not even mine. You are a diamond, and not even a diamond in the rough necessarily. You are multifaceted, and there are diamonds in your stories that need to be mined. And honestly, I didn't have the ability to do that until I started doing a lot of work on myself personally and doing a lot of healing. And then a lot of these stories started to come up and come out. I love this quote from Henry Kissinger: "A diamond is merely a chunk of coal that did," I believe the actual quote is, "extremely well under pressure." So I have 2 daughters who were born in April. I love diamonds for all the reasons. It is their birthstone, and so completely fabulous. So I have a website, CherylKnows.com. And if we click on this, it will take us to the website where you can see, and we can send this to you, or we can type it in the chat. And you can't see what I'm doing. Oh, it didn't go there. It didn't go there on my screen. I can see it, but you can't. How lovely. This is an example of a joyful, wonderful tech glitch. So let me see if I can fix this so that you can see it. That's really weird. And remember, we are not going to spend a lot of time trying to get this to work. I'll put it in the chat or send it to you, or both, so that you can see it. Let's try that. Nope, not going to work. This is an example of how to move on. So CherylKnows.com. If you go to Cheryl Knows, CherylKnows.com, and you click on coaching at the top, and you go to Taking Your Next Big Stage, you can click on that and it will show you all of the outcomes, and it will show you all of the modules, which I wasn't exactly completely and totally ready to share with you yet, but I want you to be able to know how to get there. It starts with personality assessments. Having gone through my whole life, my whole story of being adopted at birth, having my angel mother pass away, living with another family for 10 years, marrying an abusive man with bipolar disorder, I had no idea who I was. And it was only through taking some of these personality assessments, starting with Fascinate and getting certified in that, then the Enneagram, ProScan, which is an amazing tool that will help you to define both your strengths and your weaknesses, and then StrengthsFinder. I love those as a baseline for helping us figure out what you are amazing at, so that we can start crafting and honing your brand around your strengths, and then help you hire eventually to your weaknesses. Crystal, I see you have your hand up.
Isn't ProScan the one that Spencer Horn specializes in? Isn't that
Yes.
his, like, thing? Okay.
Yes,
Sure.
Spencer Horn is amazing at ProScan, and up till now, he has been helping me help my coaching clients to be able to get their own ProScan and dive through that. And I love it so much that he is helping me go on that journey. And in July, before Influence, I am getting certified in ProScan. So making that part of the repertoire so that I can help people with ProScan the way that he does, because ProScan opened my eyes to so many things about myself that the other assessments didn't. It gave me such a valuable piece of the puzzle. So yeah, Crystal, have you done ProScan?
I have dabbled with Spencer in it. I got my own scan done, and I'm telling you what, I need to have my husband done. Just saying.
Oh,
But
so brilliant.
Yeah, it was awesome.
High five. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I'm getting certified in it. Yay. So it starts with the personality assessments, and then we move into the 13-week intensive, that master.
I have to tell you really fast. The thing I love about the ProScan is that you're right. It doesn't just show you your pros, it shows you your weaknesses so that you can improve on those too.
Yes.
Like, confidence is a huge one for me, and knowing what to wear on stage, like, holy crap, I invested a lot of money into that, because I was like, I have no freaking clue how to dress my body. I freaking hate my body. That was me until very recently. And so so you have to figure that out, right? Like, invest. And my mom was like, why are you spending money on what to wear? I was like, because I don't know what to wear. Hello. Like, so it's okay to figure out what those weaknesses are. And obviously ProScan doesn't talk about your confidence level. Does it? I can't remember. It's been a while since I did that.
I mean, in certain,
I thought it was like different areas that it talked about. It doesn't delve into that specifically, but you know, it's okay to know where your weaknesses are so that you can improve those and become a better all-around person.
Absolutely. And those weaknesses become blind spots if we're not careful. And so becoming aware, I love StrengthsFinder, and it by itself is not going to get me where I need to go. I've got to know what my weaknesses are so I can A, hire to them, and be aware, and B, be aware of them so that I can mitigate them and always work on improving. So yes, ProScan. So all of that is worth $500, and actually it's priceless. All of these personality assessments that I am delivering and making sure that you have. Then we start the journey. It is a 13-week, carefully plotted out, structured program that we call cohorts. So the next cohort begins June 5th. Cohort 3 begins October 2nd. And cohort 4 is in January. The value of that program and what we have charged for it in the past is $49.95 just for that. And then, but wait, there's more. There's a Slack channel. There's accountability and support. Everyone is assigned an accountability partner, someone to work with. There is also one-on-one time with me. There are podcasts and book suggestions that I give you along the way, and an opportunity to be a guest on my podcast and potentially other podcasts, if that is something you are interested in. Kelly has been a guest on my podcast as she's working on developing her keynote and her book and all the things. And it was brilliant, and it was absolutely fabulous. And so getting out there, getting yourself out there so that people can hear your message. And here's my thing, friends. You ready? Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. And I have stopped myself because I didn't feel like I was ready, or I didn't feel like it was good enough. Enough of that. Enough of that. and just go and do. Think about, instead of thinking about us, think about the lives that you will change and bless as a result of sharing your message, even if it's not refined to a fine art. Just start sharing it. Just start sharing it, even if you're not being paid for it yet. Take every opportunity to speak everywhere you possibly can, and that will allow you to refine it and get better and figure out where did they laugh and where did they not laugh, and how can I expand and how can I contract. It's in the experience of doing that. Malcolm Gladwell says it takes 10,000 hours in order for us to really be able to become an expert at anything. Well, you do the math, depending on how many hours a week you're spending on speaking. I mean, and I know we speak all the time, all day, to our kids, on the phone, like all the things, to our spouse, but it's different than speaking. And I'm talking about how many hours a week are you spending speaking and refining and honing your message and your stagecraft. And so do the math, think about, I mean, this is a very personal question. How many hours are you spending? And if it takes 10,000 hours, how many hours have you spent already? And how long is it going to take you to become an expert? Maybe we need to dial it up a little bit so that we can get a little bit more time in. My commitment and my declaration scares the ever living heck out of me. I decided 2 days ago. It still makes my eyes water a little bit. So I'm going to keep this slide up because it will give me hope and courage. I decided 2 days ago that I have loved my 24-year journey in the real estate industry, but this is where my heart is. This is my calling, is to help new and aspiring speakers to find their voice and take their stages. I've also been asked to help coach executives and being more confident in speaking and sharing their messages. And I love that. I love that idea. And I'm so excited to do that. That's December 31st of next year I am retiring from the compliance queen side of my speaking business. And I am focusing exclusively on coaching, loving, helping, cheerleading, supporting speakers. And that is what I'm doing. And it scares me to death. And I did tell my business partner and I did tell my team before I made this announcement on Tuesday. It has not been made wildly public yet. My business coach is helping me craft that message so that I can do it with grace. I want to do it with grace and acknowledgement for every single one of my clients who has helped me get to this point. Every student who has sat in any one of my classes, probably 10,000, and to be able to wind that down in a gracious, loving, and frankly, financially responsible way. That being said, I'm not getting any younger. And you might be, I am not, and I'm fighting aging with everything I've got. Money replenishes. If I waste money on a pair of shoes or a purse or something stupid, I can go out and make more, but our time is never going to be replenished. It is your time is your most valuable asset. If I can help you in any way, whether you decide this journey is right for you or not, I am still 100% here to help you with any resources that I possibly have, things that I can send you for. However, if you're feeling called, like, yes, I want this. I want to learn how to fly the plane. I want the right wing and I want the left wing. And again, we're not talking politics. We're talking about the stagecraft and the business side. If you're feeling called to share a message that you feel like the world needs to hear, even a small part of the world, if you feel like you're ready to show up and play full out for yourself and for others, willing to do the work, if you're positive, growth-minded, open-minded, curious, committed to your own hero's journey. And friends, this is not just a money play. Anybody can teach you how to make money. This has to feel like a calling for you, because I can be excited about corn. Let's say I decide I want corn, and I can go right outside this window and go outside into my backyard and I can plant corn. And Friday night, that's tomorrow, Friday night, I am not going to sit down and get all excited about having corn on the cob for dinner. We've got to plant the seeds and we've got to give them love and time and attention and sunlight and water and lather, rinse, repeat over and over and over again. And it's going to take time. And so that's why that last part of that slide, this cannot be a money play. It has to feel like a calling. But my guarantee is that you will go from where you are to where you want to be. And I'm not talking about making the kind of money that Chad Hymas and Jason Hewlett and Clint Pulver make overnight. I'm talking about getting closer. I'm talking about going from where you are right now to getting you closer on your hero's journey, hijacking a lot of the learning curve and avoiding a lot of the stupid mistakes that I have made. Because I am focusing my life, my time, my attention, my gifts and talents, my voice into helping other speakers to be able to find and raise their voice, especially women speakers. There are not enough of us, and we need more female voices. And that's my love. That's my heart. That is my commitment. My yes is to you. And if you feel like it's a yes for you, and if you feel like you're ready, I would be honored beyond my ability to express as a professional speaker to be able to walk this journey with you. If this speaks to you, the value is there. The program is worth more than $49.95, and the personality assessments and the 3-day retreat. I mean, and there's things that I haven't even put in there. The whole thing is worth more than $10,000, and we don't charge that. We absolutely do not charge that. For cohort 2, which is right around the corner, we are offering a crazy price that we've never offered before, and that we're not offering for other cohorts. The regular price is $49.95, and if it's paid in full by May 20th, it's a savings of $1,500. And just like you, we're trying things, and if it works, and then hooray, it's great. And I recognize that might be a little bit of a stretch. So if paid in full by May 26th, my daughter's birthday, and the day I take my next coaching exam, please pray for me. It's a savings of $1,000. Oh, and that is good for other cohorts as well. And we have had people take advantage of that. If you have a crazy busy summer, it's okay, because cohort number 3 is in October. I can't believe how many people we have that have signed up for the October cohort. But we have amazing people in cohort 2 as well. So whenever it works, it has to work for you. The time has to work for you. The money has to work for you. I do not want it to be painful. Stretch, yes, I have stretched into my coaching and it's made me who I am today, but I don't want it to be painful. It cannot be painful. Cohort number 4, if you need a little bit more time and a little bit more of a ramp up, January 23rd through April is when that is starting. There will be more dates in 2024. We just haven't set them yet because these are the only 3 cohorts that we're working on right now. Whatever it takes, let's figure it out. Whether it's 2, whether it's 3, whether it's 4, we have payment plans available. We want to make sure that if this is calling to you, if I can help you and serve you, I want you to know that I am here for you. So step 1, fully refundable deposit. And there's a QR code that is right here. You just open your camera on your cell phone, put down $500. If it's not a fit, fully refunded back to you. If we feel together like it is a fit through having a meaningful conversation, book 2, after your deposit is booking your Zoom chat with me, then we have a meaningful chat and see if it's a fit. Or if you want to have the meaningful chat first, we can do that as well. Did that today, and somebody said, yes, it's a fit. And so she put her $500 down after we talked. And this is not a money play for me. This is I'm here to love and serve and be your biggest cheerleader. That is my Calendly connection, claritywithcheryl.com, www.claritywithcheryl.com. And you can book your time with me. I am leaving for Denver on Saturday to go see my birth family and my mindset coach. So if you don't see a time that you like, that works for you, just text me. I'll provide you with my cell phone number here in a second. Just text me and let's make sure that we get you in when you are ready. And we've got to make sure it's a fit. It has to be a fit. But if I share with you that I feel like we'd love to have you and you feel like you'd love to be part of what we're doing, then we celebrate and we cheer together and we pull out the pom-poms and we get you across the finish line. We figure out which cohort is going to work best for your dates and finalize your payment or your payment plan. And for the first 5 people who book their and reserve their cohort, you get a free 60-minute breakthrough session with me to figure out where you are on your journey and how I can give you that next step. And for the people who are signing up for October, I'm putting them on a weekly program with small, sweet steps for them to start working all summer long runway, so that come October, they are completely ready to go. And for the people who are starting in June, that we're going to light them on fire this summer. I don't want you to take my word for it. This is a testimonial from one of my clients who participated in cohort number 1. And he wrote this when he was a participant. And once you start, you're invited back forever. So a lot of our cohort 1 will be in cohort 2, and people from 1 and 2 will be in 3, and on, and we'll just keep the community growing. As a current Taking Your Next Big Stage participant, there are 2 major takeaways. 1, Cheryl is doing this alongside you and is delivering all kinds of information and tools to prepare you for your next big stage, big or small. It's not just some program. You're a collective working and growing together while individually making your own product. 2, Cheryl under promises and over delivers. That's very sweet of him. The people she has surrounded herself with are amazing and talented in many different ways and willing to share parts and pieces that are manageable and help you learn. This is a great place to start and has tools that will last a lifetime. So yay, you have made it this far. We will send you a gift. It is an amazing gift that I hope you love. It is a checklist because I know, Beth, you love checklists. Yes, it is a checklist for your speaking gigs and all the things that you need to remember to bring with you so that you don't forget anything. And this was a gift to me, and I absolutely love it. And I'm excited to pass it on to you. So now we are at our Q&A. I have to show you my slide because yay, Q&A, ready for your questions. And I'm going to change the view so I can see you. Yay. Questions, fire at will. Hi, Talia. Yay, Talia won cohort 3 last night. She bid on it. Yes, so she's part of cohort 3, Taking Your Next Big Stage and starting that journey June 5th. Woohoo! So, well, awesome. Questions, thoughts, comments, fire at will. I'm ready. I'm here for it.
Okay, I have one.
Yay!
You talked about how your cohort gets that thing that starts with an S, like I want to say slap, but I don't think that's it. What the heck is that?
Slack. Slack is an app. It's a communication channel. And yeah, so Kelly can speak to it because she was part of cohort number 1.
So there's lots of ways of keeping in contact with each other and being able to not miss the messages that everybody's got. And I mean, there's a million places going on, but when you've got everybody on the same channel, it's the one app. You're like, now where was that message that someone sent? And we share and share alike, and you can go there and see what people have responded to. You can add your own stuff. You can have content. You can share pictures. You can share whatever you want. And so it just is a way of connecting.
It's a beautiful, that's great, Kelly. Excellent. It is a great connection tool. It's a very organized system for communication. So there are specific channels in there. There's one for marketing. There's one for book and podcast recommendations. So people will upload their new headshots and say, what do you think? People will upload their new one sheet or say, what do you think? I'm trying to decide between this title for my keynote and this title. What do you think? And it's a great place for collection, idea, thought leadership feedback within the cohort. It's very private, it's very safe, and it's very awesome.
Because sometimes in the middle of the night, you get this brilliant idea and you've got to share it.
Yes, before it goes away.
Before it goes away. Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this halo has horns. They're real horns.
Yes, yes. Yeah, Kelly, I mean, you had such gorgeous breakthroughs. And so do you want to tell everybody a little bit about your message and how that it's developed for you and how it's turning into a book?
Okay, so the book idea is actually just what part of these epiphanies about how to do this, because it was just like, I'm just going to formulate this speech. But the book is making me understand the message more as I'm gathering the information and putting it all down in one beautiful format. When I started the program, I didn't have any idea that this was what I was going to speak on. I had no idea that this was going to be what I was going. I thought I just could be a stand-up comedy, but no. So as other people were talking about their messages, I went, wait a minute. I have a message because I raised 4 of my sister's kids until they were 18. And when people would learn that I had done this or were doing this at the time, they would look at me incredulously, like, how are you? I'm using the word like, okay.
Hey, this is a judgment-free zone right here.
I know, but ever since I'm like, okay, I'm from the 80s, so like is all over the place.
Like totally.
Like totally, it is there. So I would tell people, you see that halo right there? It's held up with horns. And I was telling people this for years, that that was just a common response because I was not perfect and people would look at me like there was this angel. But then the idea that the halo was actually held up with horns. Horns is an acronym for the things that hold up that halo, that help keep that crown on your head.
And it's so
then,
brilliant.
and then the beautiful thing of comparing that crown to the abdication and ascension of the throne from when King Edward VIII was king for a short time, and then his brother took over when he decided he had better things he wanted to do with his life than be king. And so he was left, his brother was left to wear the crown that was a very, very heavy crown.
Because he abdicated his role. And so Kelly.
Because his brother abdicated, because the King Edward VIII abdicated his role and it was left to his brother. And you may know the history of this is why Queen Elizabeth II became queen after him.
Yep.
And anyway, it's because these parents have abdicated their role. And so this is where this thing, and it's actually not just an acronym for horns, but there are 5 horns that hold up that halo.
Woo.
And they're humor, optimism, relationships, networking, and self-care. And I can rattle them off now.
Yes, you can. Look at you. Like, yeah.
And I came up with my ending story, which is the best, just while we're talking here during
What?
says you have to come up with your best story.
Yes. I love that.
So I have an ending story that it is a super feel-good story that gives you, that was the hope in all of this stuff. That was the icing on the cake, just full of emotion.
Beautiful. Oh, I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to hear it. That is absolutely fantastic.
Anyway, so
And
that
this is
what came
Talia.
out of cohort 1.
Yay! I love that. Hey, Talia.
I was finally able to unmute. I'm so sorry. I just want to say this seems amazing, like so generous. I mean, how exciting that you can come back in and learn more with other groups. So that's what I heard you say, that you
Yes.
can join and keep learning and have this kind of community of people to help. Is that what I heard? Because that sounds
Yes,
amazing.
yeah. If I failed to tell you that earlier, once you're part of us, we are Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you
can never leave.
you are part of this family forever and ever. We love you. We're here and on the front row to support you in every way we can.
Well, it sounds amazing in every way. And I'm just so grateful. I just love your energy and what you're doing and being willing to be vulnerable, to let go of that real estate job to help us. So it's amazing. Thank you so, so much.
Oh, thank you. So y'all have to wish me luck when I make the public announcements. But yeah, I want to do it with grace, and I want to make sure that I don't hurt feelings, step on toes, that I don't make anyone feel bad, and also release it as part of my journey. So, but after 25 years, we've lived in this house for 20 years. There's a lot of accumulated stuff. And I feel like that in my own personal journey and my professional journey, there's a lot of accumulated stuff, and it's just time to let some of it go. Thank heaven. Thank heaven for crew and for this family to help me and to navigate that, because I'm doing the work right along with you as I'm working on taking my next big stages. And that's part of the reason I created it. I wanted the accountability for myself to take bigger and bigger stages and to command bigger and bigger paychecks and to be able to help and love and serve and bless more and more people. That's the value exchange, right? So I'm looking at the time, and I could stay here all night with you, and I will stay and answer any and all questions, but I just want to finish our little thought for the night. Most of you, I'm sure, probably heard this. Marianne Williamson, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. You are powerful beyond measure. And I just want to invite and encourage all of you, men and women. And yes, I have had half of our cohort 1 was male and the other half was female. We love and serve absolutely everyone. So yes, yes, and yes. Saw the question in the chat. Want to make sure that all of you know I love and serve everybody. And I want to help you bring that champion, that warrior, to whatever stage is calling to you, big or small, podcast or huge stadium, whatever it is, we're in it together. I want to help you get your next standing ovation. Look at that crowd. Look at that crowd. And if it's your goal, if it's your dream to get you to earn your certified speaking professional, I am here for that. If it is your goal or your dream to become National Speakers Association president or Hall of Fame or whatever it is, I'm 100% here for that. I don't want you to be the thing that stops you from going and taking flight on your dream. A goal that is not written down is merely a wish, and it doesn't have to be my program. But if there's any way that I can love, bless, serve you in any way, shape, or form, that is my actual cell phone number. It looks like a business line, but it's not. That is our website. That is my email address. It doesn't go to the team. It goes directly to me. If there's anything that I can do to help you in any way, shape, or form on your journey to become the speaker that you were born to be, sharing a beautiful message, I'm 100% here for it. So yay. And that being said, thank you so much for being here. I took a screenshot of everybody who was here. Crystal, I know that your internet probably goofed up on you, but I got you, and we will send everyone the gift for being here the whole time. And I'm happy to stay for another few minutes and answer any and all questions that anybody has about anything and your biggest challenges with speaking. I'm here for it. Ready, go. First of all, thank you for being here. Yay.
Okay, can I ask a question that has been like killing me for a while here?
Yes.
Okay, so how the crap do I balance my family life with speaking? Like, I feel like I have to take what I really want to do and downsize that by like a factor of 10 in order to just make anything happen. Is like, how does that work? Help me out here, mamas, because I got nothing. And I love my babies. I love them. But guys, I took on homeschooling this year because God was like, you need to homeschool. And I was like, wrong person. Try again. But yeah, no, it was me. And I freaking love it. But like, guys, gals, it has been rough. So how do you balance it all? Like, what do you do with babies?
So Ashley Stratton is a member of our National Speakers Association chapter, mama of four littles. And on my podcast this week, she addresses that very question. How do you balance it all? And how she allowed herself to carve out even a little bit of time to work on her dreams so that she could be a better mom. So
okay, I like that.
It drops tomorrow. Kelly will put it up in the middle of our class that we're teaching. So Ashley Stratton, yeah, make sure that you check out her episode because that's exactly what she talks about. And what a great question, Crystal. And that's tough. It is absolutely tough. When I started on my journey, my oldest child was 11 and my youngest was 1. I had 4 girls. And then I became a single mom. And yeah, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but except that it was the right step for me to free myself from an abusive marriage. And then I married my sweetheart and together we had 9. It was tough for an only child. So I get it. It's not easy. And I'm happy to continue that conversation with you as well. And I know you have burned the hamster wheel. We talk a lot about a lot of navigating life and balancing it all in
that's true, you do. A lot of that. See, yeah. I gotta finish the freaking book and get back together with you.
Yes, circle back.
Nuts. So I'm sorry, I'm not gone, just on a little pause for a minute.
You know what? And that's okay, friend. Your hero's journey is your hero's journey. So
and I've had to learn to be patient with myself, really, because I am that type of person that's like, all right, we're gonna get it done, it'll be done tomorrow, like we got this, you know. And so for me to have to this was my 3rd get paid to speak event yesterday. I was like, holy crap, it's been 3 years now, you know. Wow. What happened to those 3 years? So I guess technically 2 years, whatever. Anyway, but I was like, this is crazy. It can't have been that long already, but it has been. And so, and don't get me wrong, like I'm really grateful for those 2 years, but holy cow, it's been freaking 2 years. It's kind of like, as my family would say, time to pee or get off the pot, you know?
Like, give yourself grace and space, friend. Yeah,
okay,
your family comes first. And trust me when I tell you, they will grow up and the days are long, but the years are short. And I don't remember who said that. I wish I could give them proper attribution, but it's so true. And carving out even an hour a day for yourself will help you to be a better mom.
Very true.
Yeah. Yeah. You are beautiful. You are wonderful. Tina, I can't see your beautiful face, but I'm so happy you are here. Yay. All right, everybody. I'm going to go spend a little time with my sweethearts. And I hope you all have a fabulous, fabulous evening. And Tina, let me know if I can help in any way. I'm here for you. Love you.
Oh, hey, Cheryl, I have to tell you really fast.
Okay.
I'm a total butt.